In the infinite darkness between the stars, there's a silence so profound you can almost feel it. For all our searching, for all our listening, the universe just seems empty, and it all comes down to the one question that has haunted us for centuries. Are we truly alone? We've pointed our biggest telescopes at the heavens, listening for a whisper, a signal, anything to prove we're not the only thinking beings in this vast cosmic ocean. And yet, the silence remains. It has a quiet so deep and so unnerving it has its own name, the Fermi paradox. The stunning contradiction between how likely life should be out there and the complete lack of evidence that it is. But what if the silence is an emptiness? What if it's a curtain? What if our tools, our science, our very senses, are only built to see a tiny sliver of reality, while everything else remains hidden in the dark? We're going to explore 3 cosmic mysteries that suggest we are not alone, just profoundly limited in what we can see. We'll investigate the chilling idea of life hidden right here on Earth, life concealed within the invisible fabric of the universe itself, and intelligent civilizations that are deliberately, and perhaps fearfully, hiding from us. What if, just on the other side of that curtain, life is hiding in plain sight? Mystery 1. The Shadow. But our first mystery doesn't ask us to look up at the stars, but down at our own feet. We've always assumed that all life on Earth shares a single origin story, that every plant, animal, and microbe is part of one enormous family tree. In a very real sense, we're all related. Every living thing we've ever found uses the same basic toolkit: DNA and RNA, a specific set of amino acids, and water. It suggests that life on Earth might have started more than once, creating entirely separate, biochemically alien forms of life. These organisms would be our planetary neighbors, but they'd be completely invisible to us, living in a biological shadow world. Maybe they wouldn't use DNA. Maybe they'd use different amino acids, or have molecules that are mirror images of our own. So, all our methods for finding life are designed to look for that. When we search for microbes, our tools are calibrated to find the familiar signatures of life as we know it. A silicon-based creature might breathe something other than oxygen and use a solvent other than water, like the liquid methane found on moons like Titan. But the shadow biosphere idea is almost spooky, because it suggests we don't need to leave Earth to find the truly alien. Scientists announced they'd found a bacterium, GFAJ1, that they claimed could actually build arsenic into its DNA, swapping it for phosphorus. Now, phosphorus is one of the 6 essential building blocks for life as we know it. It forms the backbone of DNA itself. The idea that arsenic, a poison to ask, could take its place was revolutionary. While later studies showed the bacterium was just highly resistant to arsenic, not actually using it, the whole episode fired up our imagination. It proved that even life from our own family tree can push the limits of what we thought was possible. But what if there's another tree of life, growing right alongside our own? Think of the crushing pressure and searing heat of deep-sea hydrothermal vents, or the hypercitic lakes that can dissolve metal, or even the frozen, dry valleys of Antarctica. It would mean that life isn't some cosmic fluke, a 1 in a trillion accident in Earth's primordial soup. It would suggest that life is a fundamental property of the universe, something that pops up wherever it gets the chance. And if it happened twice on one planet, the odds that it has happened on countless other worlds would be astronomical. The silent universe would suddenly feel a lot less empty. It would just mean we've been looking with our eyes closed, unaware of the shadows all around us. In these harsh fringes of existence, a different kind of biology might not just survive, but actually thrive. This is the incredible idea behind the shadow biosphere hypothesis. Think of it like this. You're in a library the size of a city, and your job is to find every book. The problem is, your catalog only lists books written with the Latin alphabet. You could search for 1,000 years and conclude that only languages like English and Spanish exist, totally blind to entire wings of the library filled with books in Mandarin, Arabic, or Sri. You aren't finding them because your tools were never built to see them. In the same way, our most advanced instruments, from DNA sequencers to microscopes, are tuned to find carbon-based life that looks and acts like us. Anything else wouldn't even show up. It would be biological dark matter. So where would this shadow life hide? Probably in the most extreme places on Earth, where our kind of life can barely hang on. For years, scientists have wondered about the possibilities. While our life is based on carbon, silicon has often been suggested as an alternative. We got a tantalizing, though controversial, clue back in 2010 from Mono Lake in California, a place loaded with salt and toxic arsenic. Finding a true shadow biosphere, even a single microbe from a second genesis, would change everything. Mystery 2. Life in the cosmic dark. Okay, so let's zoom out, way out. Look at a picture of a galaxy. What you see is the light from billions of stars, from glowing clouds of gas and dust. We call this normal matter. But everything we can see, every star, planet, and galaxy in the entire universe makes up only 5% of what's really out there. Dark matter is another 27%. It doesn't emit, absorb, or reflect any light at all. It's totally invisible. We only know it's there because we can see its gravity at work, acting like an invisible skeleton that holds galaxies together. Without dark matter, galaxies would have torn themselves apart billions of years ago. The other 95% is completely hidden from us, made of two mysterious things we call dark matter and dark energy. Dark energy is the force that seems to be pushing the universe to expand faster and faster, a sort of cosmic anti-gravity that makes up about 68% of everything. A civilization born from dark matter might exist on the scale of a galaxy, its thoughts unfolding over millions of years, its very being woven into the halo of a galaxy. They would be cosmic giants, totally unaware of the frantic little lives of the normal matter creatures scurrying around on tiny rocks. They propose that consciousness itself might not come from biology, but might be a fundamental property of the universe, maybe even linked to these dark components. This is an old idea called panpsychism. If that's true, then maybe the vast, interconnected web of dark matter could form a single, galaxy-sized mind, and we, in turn, would be completely oblivious to them, passing right through them like they were ghosts. We'd be living in the same space, but in two different realities, separated by the fundamental forces of nature, but as alive and aware in a way we can't begin to grasp. It would mean the universe seems perfectly tuned for life, because the universe is a form of life. While these ideas are far from mainstream science, they force us to admit how little we really know. Dark matter and dark energy are proof that 95% of our reality is a complete mystery, and in that darkness, anything is possible. We know it's there, but we have absolutely no clue what it is. It's one of those questions that keeps physicists up at night. Theories range from undiscovered particles to the gravitational echoes of another universe bleeding into ours. But this cosmic mystery opens the door to an even wilder question. If our tiny 5% of normal matter was able to create something as complex as life, what could be happening in the vast, unseen kingdom of dark matter? It's possible that dark matter isn't just one thing, but a whole family of particles with their own forces, dark chemistry running parallel to our own. If that were true, you could have dark atoms and dark molecules, and given billions of years, in the right conditions, maybe you could have dark life. Now, this is where we leave the path of known science and wander into pure, mind-bending speculation. Our current understanding suggests dark matter particles barely interact with anything, even themselves. That would make it pretty hard to build complex things, let alone living ones. Normal matter can form stars and planets because it can clump together and cool down. Dark matter, as far as we know, just sort of floats around in a diffuse cloud. But what if we're wrong? What if the dark world has its own set of rules? This wouldn't be life we could ever recognize. It wouldn't be biological. It wouldn't need light or water. Some thinkers take this even further, to the edge where physics meets philosophy. It's a breathtaking, almost spiritual thought, that the universe isn't just a pile of dead rock. Mystery 3. The Dark Forest. We've looked for life, hiding in the shadows of our own world and in the shadows of the cosmos. But our third and final mystery is the most chilling of all. It starts by assuming that intelligent, technological life is actually common, that civilizations rise up on countless worlds, look to the stars, and ask the same questions we do. But it offers a terrifying answer for why the universe is so quiet. What if they aren't hiding by accident? What if they're hiding on purpose, because they're afraid? Maybe they're waiting for us to solve our own problems, our wars, our divisions, our self-destructive tendencies, before they say hello. Or the reasons could be much darker. In a sinister twist called the laboratory hypothesis, we aren't just being watched, we're an experiment. Either way, the sky is silent because we've been put in a cosmic quarantine. The silence is a cage. They know we're here, but they choose to stay in the shadows, watching us. Every snapped twig, every rustle of leaves, could be a threat. You have no idea what else is out there with you. You have to be careful. You have to be quiet. Suddenly, you see another hunter. You can't talk to them. You can't see their face. Revealing your location is like shouting in that dark forest. You're just giving away your position to every predator in earshot. Any civilization foolish enough to broadcast its existence into space will be swiftly and silently destroyed. You have no way of knowing if they are friendly or hostile. Can you trust them? With your own survival on the line, the only truly safe move is to eliminate them before they can eliminate you. The Great Silence isn't the sound of an empty cosmos. It's the tense, fearful quiet of a forest full of hidden hunters, each one holding their breath, praying they aren't seen. It means that aliens are out there, but they're either too smart or too scared to ever make a sound. And then there's us. For the last century, we've been shouting into the forest, beaming radio and TV out into the void, a giant, expanding bubble of noise, announcing our exact location to anyone who might be listening. We've lit a bonfire in the middle of the dark forest. The terrifying question isn't whether anyone is out there to see it, it's what they'll do when they do. This leads us to a deeply unsettling solution to the Fermi paradox known as the zoo hypothesis. The idea, first proposed in the 70s, suggests we don't hear from aliens because they're deliberately staying away. Every civilization is an armed hunter stalking silently through the stars. It all comes down to terrifying truths. First, you can never be sure of another civilization's true intentions. And second, you know that any other civilization could have a sudden technological breakthrough and become an existential threat overnight. This chain of suspicion makes conflict almost unavoidable. In this scenario, Earth isn't just another planet, it's a cosmic nature preserve. Humanity is being watched, studied from a safe distance, like animals in a zoo, left to develop on our own without interference. And you want to keep exploring the universe's biggest mysteries? Consider subscribing to the channel. Your support lets us dive into mind-bending concepts just like these. Their reasons could be noble. Maybe they have an ethical code, a prime directive not to mess with younger species until we reach a certain maturity. This is a good moment to pause. If you find yourself thinking about these questions long after the video ends, now, as unsettling as the zoo hypothesis is, there's one that's even more terrifying. It's an idea made famous by the author Leo Sixon in his novel, The Dark Forest, and it is the darkest possible answer to the Fermi paradox. It argues the universe isn't a zoo, it's a dark forest. Imagine you're a hunter, moving silently through a pitch-black forest at night. The dark forest theory applies this brutal logic to the entire universe. In a universe like that, the only winning strategy is to stay hidden, to be silent. This theory paints a horrifying picture. So, we've journeyed through three kinds of darkness. The biological shadows on our own planet, where alien life might be thriving with a chemistry we don't recognize. The cosmic shadows of dark matter, an invisible world that makes up most of our universe and could hide forms of life we can't even dream of. And the fearful shadows of the dark forest, where other minds might be hiding not because they are alien, but because they are intelligent. Each of these ideas shatters our assumptions about our place in the cosmos. And if you want to keep exploring, don't forget to subscribe. The universe is full of secrets, and our journey to find them has only just begun. They suggest the answer to, are we alone? Isn't a simple yes or no. The truth might be far stranger. Maybe we're not alone, but simply lonely, separated from a universe teeming with life by the limits of our perception and the vast, silent distances between the stars. A challenge to look deeper, think bigger, and question everything we think we know about life and reality. The shadows are vast, but that doesn't mean they're empty. They are filled with mystery, with possibility, and perhaps with an answer that is waiting for us to finally learn how to see in the dark. The silence of the universe might not be an answer, but a challenge. What do you think? What's the most likely reason for the Great Silence? Let us know your theory in the comments.